ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। रामो राजमणिः सदा विजयते रामं रमेशं भजे। रामेणाभिहता निशाचरचमु रामाय तस्मै नमः। रामान्नास्ति परायणं परतरं रामस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम्। रामे चित्तलयः सदा भवतु मे भो राम मामुद्धर। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। 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 Third Mundaka, first and second mantra. First Khanda. Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya samanam vruksham parishasvajate ayoranyah pippalam swadvatti anashnananyo abhichakashiti samane vrukshe purusho nimagnah अनीशया शोचति मुह्यमानः जुष्टं यदा पश्यत्यन्यमीशम् अस्य महिमानमिति वीतशोकः। This khanda begins with a metaphor of two birds. Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya. Both of them are always together. They have the same name. Samanam vruksham parishashva jate. And they are clinging on to the same tree. The tree which is in the form of this body, which is symbolic of all conditionings. And tree is pointed out to show that Jiva and Ishwara are available in the same place. Generally, our idea is Jiva is here, Ishwara is somewhere. This is to show that Jiva and Ishwara are available on the same tree. Tayoho anyaha pippalam swaduvatti. The first bird, which is the Jiva bird, goes on doing things to become happy, which is symbolized by the first bird eating fruits. It means it does karmas to get karma phala and sukham through karma phala. But it is not only sweet fruits, many bitter fruits are also there. Other one, second bird, anashnan. It is fasting and abhichakashiti. It is only witnessing, not eating any fruits. So the first bird is ahankara, jiva, and the second bird is Ishwara, which can be interchangeably used with pure consciousness. Essential nature of jiva is also consciousness. That is why the tail of two birds is the same. But because it is not looking at its own true nature, it clings on to this body, clings on to sense organs, clings on to mind, and becomes karta and bhokta. So what is Jivatva? Jivatva is forgetfulness of the truth. Ignorance of the truth is Jivatva. It is not a real state. This statement only Advaita Vedanta will make. Jivatva is not an inherent title. It's a title given due to ignorance. Then Samani Vukshe Purusho Nimagnaha. On the same tree, the first bird, which is called as Purushaha here, Bhokta, it is drowned. Drowned means what? Firmly identified with body. No doubt about this notion whether I am body or not. Nimagnaha means that the example which was given was a dry pumpkin which has fallen in water. By its nature, its tendency is to float. But so many things are tied down to that pumpkin, kamandalu, that it keeps going up and down. It as though is sinking inside. Guru bhara akranta. Shankaracharya Ji had used that word. Avidya, kama, karma, raga, dvesha. Ignorance, desire, results of actions done due to desire. On top of that, likes and dislikes. With this weight, Jiva is sinking up and down in this ocean of samsara. Now comes the most important part. First line was Anishaya Shochati Muhyamana. Because he is identified with conditioning, he feels finite and feels helpless. Anishaya means due to helplessness. Anishaya Shochati. He is lamenting because of finitude, because of helplessness. Why did this everything come about? Muhyamanaha. Because he was deluded about his own true nature. Never saw the Ishwara bird, continuously went on eating the fruits of results. Fruits in the form of results, karma phala. Now comes the important part. Jushtam yada pashyati anyam isham. Jushtam means that which is sevita, that which is served, sought after by yogis and karmis. So Jushtam is adjective for whom? Isham. Having seen that Ishwara, who is served by yogis and karmis, Jushtam yada pashyati anyam isham. Second bird, Ishwara bird, having seen that, asya mahimanam iti vita shokaha. Not only having seen, but having understood its mahima. The first bird becomes free from sorrow. So in what way does the first bird see the second bird? By understanding that this bird is who I really am. Second bird is consciousness. So seeing the second bird is not seeing it as an object. Seeing the second bird is understanding I alone am this consciousness. And what is the mahima of this bird? That this world which is appearing is an appearance in that consciousness. To see the mahima of that second bird means to see creation as an appearance in that consciousness. So Shankaracharya Ji translates the word pashyati as dhyayamanaha. Dhyayamana means while meditating. So if you look at the second line again, how it will translate. While meditating upon the second bird, while meditating upon consciousness, Jiva becomes free from all sorrows. Now, this point has a very beautiful sadhana pointer, meditation sadhana pointer hidden in it. There are several definitions of meditation. One simple definition is to pay attention. Paying attention to the truth is meditation. Because we can pay attention to objects also. But here you are paying attention to the truth, to Akshara. But you can add one more part to this definition, paying attention to the truth without objectifying it. Paying attention to the truth without objectifying it is meditation. In Hindi, the definition is beautiful. आत्मा की ओर ध्यान देना ध्यान है. If you remove आत्मा की ओर, this shorter definition is ध्यान देना ध्यान है. Paying attention to Atma without objectifying it is meditation. Now, how is this possible? To take example. When we see some object, the very fact we are seeing it, we can use that understanding and shift attention to eyes. This point we had seen in Drisha Viveka. When we go for eye checkup, the different letters are written there. Now the doctor says, read those letters. His intention is not in checking whether we can read English or not. Where is his attention? On the eye. But what are you reading? You are reading that letter. So by seeing something, your attention is on the seer. So when it is said, see the Ishwara bird, it is not seeing Ishwara as an object. Not seeing consciousness as an object, but paying attention to consciousness without objectifying consciousness. Now, the moment a sadhaka sits down to do this, there will be some obstacles. First obstacle will be objectification of consciousness, wanting to see consciousness. If that part is clear, the second obstacle will be pull of anatma. The moment he sits down to meditate, there will be pull of sense objects. There will be pull of people. But they will come in the form of thoughts. Because fortunately, seat of meditation, everything is cut off. Eyes are closed, solitary place, ideal time when nobody is around, or not too much of disturbance. So how is Anatma pulling this person? Only through thoughts. If he can deal with thoughts, he can deal with entire Jagat. Now, how to deal with thoughts on the strength of knowledge? That part we are going to focus now. It's all tied back to the word Pashyati. If Jiva bird has to look at Ishwara bird, first point to remember is it is not looking at the second bird as an object. And to keep looking at it, what makes it look back are distractions of the mind. What makes the Jiva bird turn away from Ishwara bird are distractions, pulls of Anatma. How to handle this distraction? Through knowledge. Now take some examples. There is clay, and that clay becomes a pot. Now, if you want to pay attention to the pot, how are you going to pay attention? I'll make two statements. You tell me which one is more accurate. The pot is in the clay. Okay? Pot is in the clay, statement number one. Clay alone is appearing as pot. Clay alone is appearing as pot. If I shift my attention away from clay, what I see is pot. That is second statement. Which one is more accurate? Second one. When you say see pot in clay or see clay in pot, there are no two entities there. There is only one entity called as clay. That clay alone is appearing as pot. So if pot is distracting me, what should I do? Hold on to clay more. And understand that there is no second entity called as, second independent entity called as pot. In our Indian roads, they have signboards. Nazar hati, durghatana ghati. If your attention shifts away from the road, accident is waiting to happen. Same thing here. Attention shifted from substratum, superimposed takes over. But appreciate this relationship. Huh? In superimposed and substratum, it is substratum alone which is appearing as the superimposed. Few more examples. Huh? Water and wave. Should you see wave in water? Or can you say water alone is appearing as waves? Water alone is appearing as waves. Now, if wave is taking my attention, one is a big wave, one is a small wave, what should I do to hold on to water? What should I do to shift attention away from water, from wave? Just think about the water. And understand or remind yourself that this wave is not second entity. Water mistaken is appearing as wave. Third one is more precise, rope and snake. If I'm seeing the rope, if I'm not seeing the rope, I'm seeing only the snake, and I'm getting afraid of that snake. I'm getting distracted by that snake. Fear is coming. Now, what should I do to remove that fear, to deal with that fear? Just think about the rope again. And having thought about the rope, how should I look at that snake? I should remind myself, It is that rope alone which is appearing as snake. It might look very different, but rope misunderstood is snake. If these examples are clear, something new is going to open up now. In the place of rope, we can put Brahman. And in the place of snake, we can put our bothering thoughts. Bothering thought means not worldly thoughts. In the moment a sadhaka sits to look at the second bird, to shift attention to the truth, some random thought takes away his mind. It as though forces him to look back again to the fruits. So what is the Vedantic way of looking at it? Trying to remind ourselves that whatever I am seeing as thought is Brahman misunderstood. Brahman with the lens of avidya is appearing as thought. So without worrying too much about what is coming, if you can shift attention back to the source, that becomes the way to look at the second bird. This was Ramana Maharshiji's technique. Anything a sadhaka would get stuck with, all he would do is bring attention or trace attention back to Chaitanya. And his method of doing that was by asking that question, who am I? That also is in a way looking at the second bird only, looking at Ishwara. But I hope this technique we can appreciate, that instead of struggling with thoughts, we try to remove the reality given to thoughts. Instead of trying to stop the waves or manage the waves, we just shift attention to the fact that water alone is appearing as wave. So instead of struggling with thoughts, just shift attention back to this fact that consciousness alone is appearing as thoughts. And this technique also has the power to quieten the mind. The one who gives life to thoughts is we ourselves. Means as consciousness, if we trace the thought, hold on to the thought, then it becomes more powerful. Okay. Now the Bhashya part. We had seen the first quarter, I think, right? Samane vrukshe purusho nimagnaha. Next part is there, Anishaya shochati muhyamanaha. Where did we stop in the Bhashya? Ataha Anishaya. So in your Gita Press book, page 84, I think. 81. 81, last para. Did you all find online? Okay. Ataha Anishaya na kasyachit samartaha aham putro mama vinashtaha mruta me bharya kim me jivitena iti evam dina bhavah anisha taya shochati santapyate muhyamanah anekaihi anartha prakaraihi avivekataya chintam apadyamanah sah evam pretatiryang manushyadi yonishu ajavam javibhavam आपन्नः कदाचित् अनेकजन्मसु शुद्धधर्म संचित निमित्ततः केनचित् परमकारुणिकेन दर्शितयोगमार्गः अहिंसा सत्य ब्रह्मचर्य सर्वत्याग शमदमादिसंपन्नः समाहित आत्मा. The Bhashya part, you might not get time to write each and every word of what we are discussing. The point of Bhashya is the word from the mantra should become very precisely understood. So I would strongly encourage all of you to highlight the words from mantra in the Bhashya so we can quickly find out which word we are discussing right now. And if you just write some key points, it will need some revision later. Bhashya study becomes very joyous if you are able to just go back to it after we have looked at it. Ideal is we should be able to look at it before also. If you can split the sandhis, then again when we split, we can take a look. Ideal case, don't worry if you are not able to do it. Ataha anishaya samane vrukshe purusho nimagna. Because this first bird is drowned in body identification, therefore it feels helpless. Anishaya means because of helplessness. What does it say? How does this helplessness express in that jiva? Na kasyachit samartaha aham. I am not capable of doing anything. Means every jiva at some point has this feeling. In a day, several times it might come and go, or over a span of certain time, jiva has to feel helpless, particularly with prarabdha. Some prarabdha, if it has to come, without asking, it will barge in. Without asking, it will storm out. Paristhiti, situation will come, give result, and go. Jiva is left watching. Na kasyachit samartaha aham. Then all sambandhas are there, relations are there, and there is union and separation. Putro mama vinashtaha. My son is no more. Mruta me bharya. Wife is no more. Kim me jivitena iti evam. What is the purpose of living? What is the purpose of my life? He says at some point, this helplessness comes to a jiva. So one word for helplessness is dina bhavaha. Dina bhavaha. Now this helplessness, if we channelize it correctly, it can lead us towards moksha. The first chapter of Bhagavad Gita is Dina Bhava of Arjuna. But if a jiva says, I can handle my life on my own, in spite of seeing helplessness, he says, I'm okay. I will not seek any help. Then he's further and further away from moksha. So Dina Bhava, if channelized properly, even Vishada can become yoga. Arjuna Vishada, first chapter we say, Arjuna Vishada Yoga, because it took him to the Lord. Dina Bhavaha Anisha Taya Shochati. He laments because of this helplessness. Santapyate, Shochati means he gets afflicted because of his helplessness. The next word from mantra is Muhyamanaha. Muhyamana is present continuous. while getting deluded. Muhyamanaha. What is the meaning of muhyamanaha? Anekaihi anartha prakaraihi. By different calamities, anartha prakaraihi, avivekataya, because of lack of discernment, lack of clear thinking, chintam apadyamanaha, he has come to excessively worry about life. Chintam apadyamanaha, sah evam preta tiryang manushyadi yonishu. That jiva alone keeps shuttling between different bodies. Sometimes he's in human body, sometimes he's in preta sharira. Sometimes it is animal body. Tiryang means animal. Manushyadi yonishu ajavam. Ajavam means continuously. From one body to another body, continuously keeps going. Javibhavam apannaha. Javibhavam is a very nice word. Anand Giriji says, Javibhavam, he gives three meanings. One meaning is Nikrushta Bhava, low opinion. Nikrushta Bhava means that infinite consciousness. To think that consciousness to be helpless. To think that infinite consciousness to be helpless, that itself is Nikrushta Bhava. Nikrushta Bhava, if you want more finer English word, smallness, finitude. Second meaning of Javibhava is due to the pressure of karma, due to the pressure of busyness in life, not having time to think what is my true nature. That is called as Javibhava. Shankaracharya Ji repeats this point in Bhaja Govindam. Balastavat krida sakta. Child is busy playing. Tarunastavat taruni sakta. Young person is busy in other things. Vruddhastavat chinta sakta. Elderly person is busy in worrying. Parame brahmani kopi na sakta. Kastvam koham kuta ayata. Kame janani kome tata. Who are you? Where have you come from? Who is your mother and father? Iti paribhavaya. Think about this. What does this person say? I don't have time. That is Javibhava. Not having time to think about one's own true nature. Am I the first bird or the second bird? Not having time, continuously going on eating fruits on the tree. That is Javibhava. Javibhavam apannaha kadachit. Kadachit means very few, once in a while. Somebody wakes up. Aneka janmasu. You know what this means? For that first bird to turn around and look at the second bird, it can take several janmas. For several janmas, it can go on eating fruit after fruit after fruit in different life forms without paying attention to that second bird. Aneka janmasu. Shuddha dharma sanchita. Now, dharma sanchita we understand. What is Shuddha dharma sanchita? Shuddha dharma sanchita means having gained sufficient nishkama karma. Shuddha dharma means selfless actions. Spiritual desire comes because of nishkama karma. The calling to look at the second bird comes because of selfless actions. If sakama karma is done, that first bird will get good fruits. Sweet fruits, more sweet fruits than bitter fruits. What is sakama karma? Desire prompted actions. It might be good actions. So like going to Swarga, actions done to go to Swarga, or to get some material benefit here. That desire in that action is the Ashuddhi. What is Shuddha Dharma? Selfless, desireless actions, good actions. So Aneka Janmasu, it can take very long time, and it is done, brought about by Nishkama Karma. Nishkama Karma, Shuddha Dharma, Sanchita Nimittaha, Kenachit Parama Karunikena, Darshita Yoga Margaha. What happens because of his Punya Karma? He is led to systematic study. Parama Karunikena means compassionate, Darshitaha, one who is shown the path by a compassionate teacher. Darshita Yoga Margaha. What is the Yoga Marga? Not Ashtanga Yoga. Yoga Marga here is Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. That Marga has been shown. Now the thing is, teacher will only show us the path. Teacher cannot walk the path for us. If that Jiva heard everything about how to look at the second bird and went back to eating the fruits, he says nobody can do anything. So this Guru, when he showed the path, he also showed certain sadhanas. What were those sadhanas? Ahimsa, not being hurtful in thought, words, and deeds. See, sometimes the literal translation of ahimsa, the popular translation is not hurting animals. No, that is very easy. Not hurting animals is easier to practice than to overcome hurtful speech. Swami Vivekananda writes in one place, before you study Vedanta, we should learn to become a gentleman. Because he says 80% of our problems are not even related to spirituality. It comes because of improper conduct. If I have himsa in my speech and I create several enemies and I want Vedanta to solve my problem, what will Vedanta say? You work on your speech, your transactional problem will be solved. So these sadhanas are pointing out how to be a sattvic person first, ahimsa. Now connect this with 13th chapter. Before talking about kshetrajna, Bhagavan spoke about values. He said those values will take us towards truth. Ahimsa, satya, truthfulness. And brahmacharya. Here, brahmacharya specifically means study of Brahma Vidya. The self-control part is mentioned later, Shamadama. So here brahmacharya means Veda Adhyanam and specifically Vedanta Adhyanam. Brahmacharya. These are all the sadhanas for the first bird to look at the second bird. Brahmacharya, Sarvatyaga. Sarvatyaga means Vairagya. One cannot hold on to Jagat also with Satya Buddhi and want to hold on to Brahman also as Satyam. Okay, so Sarvatyaga, Shamadamadi Sampannaha. One who is endowed in plenty. The qualities of Shama and Dama. Control of mind, control of sense organs. One commentator, he writes, the word Sampatti is used to show that we need these qualities in plenty. See, who is called Dhanavan? One who has plenty of wealth. Like that here, Sampatti word is used, means plenty of inner wealth. Sampannah samahit atma, the one who has well-controlled mind, obedient mind. That bird will be able to look at the second bird. One thing to note here is all these qualities teacher can only show us. Practicing them, walking on the path is our responsibility as students. Then only the result will be seen. If we say, I understood the teaching, but I'm not seeing the result, very likely these qualities need to be fine-tuned. Different factors, different sadhanas which are pointed out, they need to be fine-tuned. Next part of the Bhashya. Sanjushtam sevitam anekaihi yogamargaihi karmibhischa yada yasmin kale pashyati ध्यायमानः अन्यं वृक्ष उपाधि लक्षणात् विलक्षणम् ईशम् असंसारिणम् अशनाया पिपासा शोकमोह जरा मृत्यु अतीतम् ईशम् सर्वस्य जगतः अयम् अहम् अस्मि आत्मा सर्वस्य समः सर्वभूतस्थः न इतरः अविद्याजनित उपाधि परिच्छिन्नः माया आत्मा इति विभूतिं महिमानं च जगद्रूपम् अस्य एव मम परमेश्वरस्य इति यदा एवं दृष्टा तदा वीतशोकः भवति सर्वस्मात् शोकसागरात् विप्रमुच्यते कृतकृत्यः भवति इत्यर्थः. Now the second line of the mantra, Jushtam yada pasyatyanyam isham, that is being elaborated in the Bhashya. Sanjushtam, Jushtam means sevitam, one who is served, one who is sought after. By whom? Anekaihi yoga margaihi, by several people who are walking on the path of yoga. Or karmibhischa, those who are walking on the path of satkarma, dharmic people. Second bird is that which is sought after by these people. Karmibhischa. Yada. Jushtam yada is there, right, in the mantra. Yada means yasmin gale. At that time, pashyati. See, what is the translation of the word pashyati? Dhyayamanaha. While meditating upon the second bird. At that time, when Jiva meditates upon Shuddha Chaitanya, at that time. Dhyayamanaha. On what does he meditate? Anyam. On the other bird. Vruksha upadhi lakshanat. The upadhi of Vruksha, which was there. Vruksha upadhi lakshanat refers to Jiva bird. Jiva bird was indicated by that which has Deha as its upadhi. Vruksha upadhi lakshanat vilakshanam, different from this Jiva bird. Vilakshanam isham. Now this bhashya is very beautiful. In this particular mantra, the meaning of the word isham is pointed out without conditioning. And in next mantra, Isha is pointed out with conditioning. Now we will appreciate why it's important to understand both these meanings. One is pointed out with conditionings as adhyaropa, and second one is without conditionings, which is apavada. So here the unconditioned form is mentioned. What is Isham asamsarinam? The one in which prapancha is mithya, therefore all samsara is mithya. Asamsarinam. Ashanaya pipasa. Atitam. Atitam will go with all these adjectives. Ashanaya pipasa means that which doesn't have hunger and thirst. Ashana means hunger, pipasa means thirst. Means that which is devoid of prana. Hunger and thirst belongs to prana. So that which is devoid of prana is ashanaya pipasa varjitam. Shoka moha atitam. One which is beyond shoka and moha. Shoka moha, jara mrityu, old age and death. All of these things come because of conditioning of body and mind. So what is the second bird, Ishwara bird? That consciousness which is devoid of all conditionings. Isham word is opened up in this way. Now, in what way does he see the second bird? We discussed in the beginning of the class, not as an object. Now you see this line, you'll have to rearrange the words a little bit. How does it read? Sarvasya jagataha ayam aham asmi atma. Correct? So you have to rearrange it as ayam sarvasya jagataha atma aham asmi. Ayam Ishah sarvasya jagatah atma. Atma aham asmi. So looking at that second bird is not looking at it as an object. Understanding this consciousness is the substratum of this whole universe. It is Atma of this whole universe. And this consciousness I am. Now you connect it with our initial part of the discussion of today. If something of this world is bothering, mind is distracted by thoughts. How should I think? It is this consciousness alone which is appearing as thoughts. Consciousness with avidya becomes vritti. There is no second entity called as thought. Bring attention back to consciousness, thought will disappear. Did you all mark that sequence? Ayam sarvasya jagatah. Atma. Aham asmi. Sarvasya samaha. In all beings, I am sama. Sama means ekarasa, homogeneous, one where there are no distinctions. Space is saying, in all parts, I am sama. In big part, I don't become big. In small part, I don't become small. Like that consciousness says, conditionings don't bring about any limitations in me. That is the meaning of samaha. Sarva bhutastaha, one who is present in all beings. If you want to connect with 13th chapter, Kshetrajnaha. Sarva bhuta is kshetra. Sarva bhutastaha, one who is in all kshetra, knowing all kshetra is kshetrajna. Sarva bhutastaha. Na itaraha. I am not this first bird. So the first bird looks at the second bird by dropping its individuality. In fact, dropping individuality itself is looking at the second bird. Because that second bird is not second separate entity. It is a substratum of this ahankara. Letting go of individuality is shifting attention to totality, shifting attention to the truth. Na itaraha avidya janita upadi parichinnaha. Why did I come to understand myself as the first bird? Because of avidya upadi, the conditioning of ignorance. That is what brought finitude in me. And this finite ego, Shankaracharya uses a very beautiful word, Maya Atma iti. Maya Atma means Mithya Atma. Consciousness misunderstood becomes the ego. Forgetfulness of consciousness gives rise to projection of the ego. More and more you pay attention to the truth, the ego melts away. More and more you pay attention to Chaitanya, this ego melts away. In Vedanta, three types of Atma are pointed out. First Atma is Gauna Atma. Second Atma is Mithya Atma. Third Atma is Paramatma. Gauna Atma, Mithya Atma, and Paramatma. Gauna Atma means some person is there outside. We know he is different from us. But he is so dear to us, we call that person as our Atma. That is called as Gauna Atma. Like a father feels, this Putra is my Atma. In Vedanta Sara we had seen, Putratmavada. Means he knows that son is different from him. But he feels so much of closeness that he calls him as his Atma. That is called as Gauna Atma. Second one is Mithya Atma. Mithya Atma means false I. Gauna Atma means secondary I. Mithya Atma means false I. False I refers to Ahankara. One whom we call as this person. One who has all titles. That is this Mithya Atma. What is the third one? Paramatma. That is Shuddha Chaitanya, true I. Absolute I. So, in this tree, which are the two birds? Mithya-atma and Paramatma. Bird number one is Mithya-atma. Bird number two is Paramatma. What is the meaning of first bird looking at second bird? Mithya-atma Ahankara understanding. I am not Ahankara, but I am Shuddha Chaitanya. I am not this Mithya-atma, but I am Paramatma. The word for Maya Atma here is, the word for Mithya Atma here is Maya Atma, means that which is not there but appears. Vibhutim Mahimanam. This bird is the Vibhuti of the second bird. What is the Mahima of the second bird? Jagad Rupam. See, the Mahima of consciousness is Jagat. So world doesn't become an obstacle, but world becomes a poetry of consciousness. So when he sees as his Jagat, he looks upon it as Mahima of Chaitanya. It is just like seeing, when you see the mirage water, you see it as Mahima of Sandre. Snake rope example, it doesn't fit as much. But you can still say, when you see the snake, you look at it as Mahima of the rope. How that rope alone is appearing as snake, like that his mind is stunned by seeing this fact, how consciousness is appearing as creation. That point we have to think more. Water is appearing as wave. Rope is appearing as snake. Consciousness alone is appearing as Jagat. And whatever is an appearance will go away with knowledge. Jagat Rupam Asya Eva Mama Parameshwarasya. Now he is not looking at the second bird as something different. He says, of me, Paramatma Parameshwara. Of me, the pure consciousness, this is Mahima. So Jagat is not looked upon as Mahima of some other entity. He says Jagat is my Mahima. But when he says I, where does his I land? Gauna Atma, Mithya Atma or Paramatma? Paramatma. I doesn't land on anybody outside, neither on this Ahankara. It lands straight on consciousness. Success of meditation is this. Whenever I say I, it should land directly on consciousness. If it gets stuck anywhere in between, we have to think more, reflect more, meditate more. Mama Parameshwarasya iti yada evam drashta. When this drashta bird, Ishwara bird, pashyati. Pashyati you have to bring from previous statements. Pashyati. Tada Vita Shokaha Bhavati. At that time, this first bird, which was Muhyamanaha, which was Shochati, becomes Vita Shokaha. Free from all sorrow, because it understands my sorrow was because of mistaken identity. What I was not, I took upon it as me, which is his body, mind, sense organs. And their modification, I took upon them as my modification. That was my samsara. When it sees the second bird, becomes free from it. Sarvasmat shoka sagarat vipramuchyate. From shoka sagara, it is freed. What is the meaning of vita shokaha? Kruta krutyaha bhavati ityarthaha. Means having abided in the self, nothing else remains incomplete. What is one sign of self-abidance? That this Jivan Mukta doesn't have any unfinished agenda. He doesn't say, I think I am Brahman, but if this thing happens, it would be nice. There is no unfinished thing. That is one litmus test of looking at the second bird properly. Okay. So this bhashya was very helpful and very detailed in terms of how to look at the second bird. Because the metaphor by itself doesn't convey much. You say first bird is there, second bird is there, first bird look at second bird and became free from all sorrow. But Shankaracharya Ji gave a code word there. Pashyati is dhyayamanam. Seeing the second bird is meditating on the second bird. Okay, so that we have to reflect more. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om, everyone.